Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kerrville Weekly News Roundup, hosted by the Texas Hill Country Podcast Network. Yours truly, Andrew Gay and Tom Fox here in the studio. Today, we're going to run over our top picks for news this past week. Tom, as always, you want to do the honors and kick us off, sir?
Sure. Today, I want to highlight a story out of Fredericksburg, actually, although it has a Kerrville tie, and that's the Ranger Museum Foundation in Fredericksburg is in danger of losing its lease. It had $1 a year lease for some pretty prime property on Highway 281, just to the east, I think, of Fredericksburg, and they have not developed it per the development agreement they signed with Gillespie County. I think in 2011, the Kerrville connection is apparently the Ranger Museum was supposed to be in Kerrville. And
Interesting.
at least as the Kerrville Daily Times reported it, property was purchased by the Ranger Foundation, but for some reason it was moved to Fredericksburg. Now, if you go by that property, there's like a bell tower and sort of a pavilion, a couple of chuck wagons, and it's some cool stuff, but there's really no museum. There's certainly no enclosed museum dedicated to the Texas Rangers. And apparently, the city of or the county of Gillespie and the city of Fredericksburg are fed up with the Ranger Foundation not fulfilling its obligations, and they're going to throw them off. I'm not quite sure what it might mean for the Ranger Foundation and the Texas Ranger Museum in Fredericksburg, but it's certainly not good, and it's a terrible look because we've got the Kerrville Daily Times with us today, and it was on the front page of our paper. It was on the front page of the Fredericksburg paper, so it's certainly not good. I'm not quite sure what you would call it. The saga of the potential 391 commission or those continues in Kerrville and Kerr County and Kendall County. They're still trying to figure out if they're going to have a 391 commission to try to fight lithium batteries in Kerr County and Kendall County, I suppose. We've had some more hearings this week. The Kerr County commissioners and even Judge Moore was just basically berated by some of the attendees and the public who spoke. Certainly not a good look for Kerr County. But the hearing this week was a workshop, not a hearing, so nothing can get done. And then something else I want to bring to everybody's attention, Andrew, which is the city of Kerrville is going to try to replace all of the lead pipes in Kerrville. And that's certainly an laudable goal. It's unclear at this point the cost because we don't know how much footage of lead pipes, their legacy lead pipes, there are in Kerrville. But the thing I want to make homeowners aware of is the homeowner is responsible from the property line to the home for any lead pipes. The city is responsible from the property line outward into the street. It could be that the city could replace the existing lead pipe on its property or its right of way with PVC pipe or other pipe, and yet the homeowner would need to replace his or her pipes to be fully protected. We've had Flint, Michigan is probably the biggest example of a huge population poisoned by lead pipes and lead in the water. So it's a very recognized health risk. And like I said, I applaud the city of Kerrville for trying to take care of it, but homeowners have a responsibility as well.
I may or may not be the president of an HOA, and I just had a member ask me about forward me an email they got from the city that was basically a link to a survey to help them determine. I guess they're trying to take inventory. I guess that's the first step in that process. Sounds like quite the project. Okay, so the only thing that I wanted to mention this week was the lighted parade that we have tomorrow night. I mentioned it last week, but it's actually happening this weekend. We actually are expected to see some cooler temps too, so it actually might feel like winter. We've had this parade because I'm not necessarily going to opine on the fact that we have this parade in November, but because we do, there have been dates in the past that have been warm versus cold. So I'm excited that we're going to have some cooler weather. And then I have been invited to do the honors as not just judge the parade as a float judge, which will be my first time doing that, and I'm looking forward to that. But then afterwards, I'm going to march over to the courthouse and help the county and Salvation Army ring the inaugural or the initial bell that officially kicks off the Christmas season here in Kerr County. So if you drive around Kerrville, you can see that they just got those gold shiny Christmas trees up on most of the light poles around town. This tomorrow night we'll do the honors and actually light the Christmas tree on the courthouse lawn. So super excited about that. And then next week we have Thanksgiving. The next time we are talking to you guys, we will already have had Thanksgiving. So you got any exciting plans for that, Tom?
Greatest rivalry in the state of Texas re-inaugurates or reignites, probably is better.
I would have been let down if your comment was not about football.
Texas travels to a small secular school in a town called College Station for a game, and it will be for not the Big 10 or Big 12, the SEC West Championship. The winner will go to the SEC Championship game, and I'm fully anticipating UT to stomp A&M. I will revel in every moment of that. I can't tell you how many of those games I've been to in the last 50 years, but it's great to see that rivalry back. As great as it was to see Texas stomp Arkansas, it will be even greater to see us stomp A&M. So I'm looking forward to that game. And of course, Thanksgiving. And my wife, although it's just the two of us, she insists on cooking for 12. So we will be eating and grazing for several days thereafter. And we're going to put up Christmas. We broke out the Christmas tunes last night, and that put a smile on our faces. We're looking forward to really embracing the holiday season this year. I think you guys were sick too last year over Christmas, and that really put a damper on things. But so we're really looking forward to that. And the cool weather down in the 30s this week really, you're absolutely right, added to the flavor of all of that.
It did, and looking forward to some more. So thank you guys for tuning in. That'll do it for us this week. We'll catch you back here next week or week after. We'll see you after Thanksgiving. Have a happy holiday.
This is Tom Fox. I hope you enjoyed this edition of the Kerrville Weekly News Roundup. This podcast is a production of the Texas Hill Country Podcast Network. If you've enjoyed this podcast, I hope you will subscribe or rate and review this podcast wherever great podcasts are listened to. I hope you'll join Gilbert, Andrew, and myself next week where we take a look at some of the top stories from Kerrville and the surrounding Hill Country area. Thanks so much for listening.